In the last episode we looked at eggs, incubation and hatching. In this episode we're going to be looking at what happens next. All the way from brooders, ringing the chicks, taking DNA and putting them out with the females. So the first thing when the chick hatches is to take the DNA. Now, we do this for two reasons. One, to check the sex, and two, to keep a record of the DNA on file so that we can check the father. We use this to see which fathers and which pairings are producing the most successful offspring. Using this sterilized forceps, we carefully take the egg membrane from the inside the egg. We place this in a plastic container, again sterilized, and we leave it to dry for probably 12 hours before sealing up and sending away for analysis. Once the chicks hatched, we bring them into the chick room. Here they go through a series of brooders where we reduce the temperature by 0.5 degrees Celsius per day for 3 days before they're reduced further and placed under electric heat pads. The first brooder they go into is at 36.5 degrees Celsius. What we're doing here is recreating the environment and simulating what the female does when she sits brooding the chicks in the nest. After day 3, the chicks are placed under the electronic heat pads. The reason we do this is the chicks are a little bit bigger now, they're a little bit more mobile, and the heat pads and the way they work, it allows the chick to move forward and backwards and basically regulate its own body temperature based upon the environment in which it's in. We tend to keep this room roughly about 21 to 22 degrees Celsius, so it never really gets that cold. That extra heat from the heat pad just makes the chicks really comfortable. When the falcons first hatch, we feed them 4 times a day. We feed them a mixed diet, but primarily quail. It's a plucked quail and it's obviously a whole animal carcass diet. This quail is placed through a mincer and it's ground up into a really fine mince that allows the chicks to quite easily digest, and they do really well on it. When feeding, we always mix the food with a little bit of water, because remembering this is the only source of water the chicks have at this stage. And it's obviously very important for chick development and healthy growth. Monitoring the chick's health throughout this whole process is vitally important. Obviously this isn't a natural environment for the chicks, although we do our best to recreate and simulate what happens naturally in the wild with the feeding of the full diet, the full carcass. Now, a few things we're looking for here. We're looking for bright eyes. We're looking to make sure the legs and the skin is not drying out, it's not dehydrated. And we're looking to make sure the mutes or the poo is good, it's solid, and it's not getting runny. Of course, if the chicks do get sick, under veterinary care we can put them on antibiotics, but it's always best not to. It's always best to try and catch the signs early. If the chick's a bit dehydrated, get it rehydrated and get the chicks fit and well. Generally the falcon chicks go back out with the parents around 5 days old. You'll see here where the female is feeding the chicks and just looking after them in an absolutely completely natural manner. Occasionally we do pick a falcon or two that we just want to keep back for the project, and we imprint these and hand rear them and obviously introduce them to everyday life. The falcons are fitted with a closed ring around 10 days old. Now this ring carries a unique reference number and is linked back to the government paperwork. It's kind of like a license that stays with the falcon throughout its life. It references back to the breeding establishment and also states the parents and historically the parents' ID. When we place the chicks back with the parents in the garden, we feed 3 or 4 times a day, replacing the food, just keeping it nice and fresh. The pairs are really attentive at this stage and they always make sure the chicks are comfortable and they've got a full crop. It's the same process in here, where we feed the chicks, we make sure they've got a full crop. We'll clean the beaks down and we place them back in the brooders and they'll stay there and they'll basically go to sleep, ready waiting for the next feed. The chicks that we place back out with the parents, they stay there for around 6 weeks. At that point they'll fledge the nest, we catch them up and we place them in the hack chamber. The hack pen is basically a huge aviary. The falcons, as you'll see here, learn to fly and they chase each other. They learn to become falcons. It really is a key development stage in the falcon's life, and being able to free fly and develop in this time mentally and physically really makes a difference between what could be a normal falcon and a great falcon. At around 12 to 16 weeks old, the falcons are taken up from the hack pen, fitted with their hoods and their jesses, before making their way to the Middle East to their new homes. Some of the falcons are also flown in the UK in traditional falconry. If you're interested in falconry or learning a little bit more about falcons, you can check out the links in the bio below. I really hope this overview of the breeding project and how we do things here has been useful. For more content on a whole range of topics, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. We'll hope to see you again soon. What do you want?
One of these. What? Another one of these.
Why?
Because.
What is it?
I don't know. Just put it far away. Eat it. I'm trying to let him eat this. It's right there. Eat it.